Welcome to Beer Untapped with Perry Miller, the podcast. I'm joined by Seth.
Hey, welcome, guys. Thanks for finding us on the internet.
Now, these shows originally aired on Brookings Radio, but now they're all here for your enjoyment. I hope you like it.
There you go. Sit back, enjoy the show, relax. Let us know if you want to see anything on future shows. As we said, this comes out live in the Brookings area, but enjoy this archive episode.
Beer Untapped with Perry Miller. Welcome to Beer Untapped with Perry Miller. Big things are happening at Wooden Legs Brewing in Brookings these days, including big bottles. Not only a small-town pale ale on retailer shelves around the area in regular six-packs, Wooden Legs is now offering larger-sized bottles called bombers of some of their specialty beers, starting with their big Imperial Stout, Pogonophilia.
We're hand bottling some of it. It's one of our new projects that we're working on here. Of course, we've got the small town that's going out in the six-packs, and that's kind of a product that we want people to get their hands on, be able to get into any gas station or convenience store. And of course, when you do that, you need some mechanization, and it goes through a bottling line. But then we have maybe on the other side of the realm some of the specialty products that don't make as much sense as a six-pack and probably will never go into a six-pack, but we still want to be able to, have people take it with them.
That's Seth Cook from Wooden Legs. He says they can do that with growlers, but they don't make sense for every beer, and they need to be consumed within just a few days.
People have asked us for bombers. Bomber is a 22-ounce sealed container. It's just a big glass bottle, so it's the giant long neck you'll see on the shelf.
Almost wine bottle size.
Almost size. A little smaller than a 750. You've probably seen them before, but they're like a long neck, but almost twice as big. So they're usually adorned with bottle art or a cool big label because you have the real estate to do it, and we kept our Pogonophilia label pretty simple just because I think what's in the glass is maybe just as important as what the sticker is on the outside. We are hand bottling those here, so that means it comes right off our last keg. We've actually saved a cellar to keg of Pogo from the last batch just to be able to do this project. Not made to be widely distributed. You won't find them any place but the pub. We will put them on the shelf here, and we'll keep them nice and cool. The cool thing about the Pogonophilia and the bomber format is that it can also be cellared, so there'd be no reason that you couldn't buy one here and go tuck it away in your cellar at 55 degrees.
Pogonophilia is a big Russian Imperial Stout, fairly high in alcoholic content, the kind of beer that can age beautifully.
So this beer is made to be drank, but it would not be hurt to be aged. So I'm going to take a couple of these and squirrel them away, and we are going to cellar some here for maybe a special release later, and maybe as importantly, we'll sell them away and be able to have them next to each other on next year's version.
We'll have more Beer Untapped right after this. Welcome back to Beer Untapped with Perry Miller as we talk the release of beer in large format bottles called bombers at Wooden Legs Brewing in Brookings. Their huge Russian Imperial Stout Pogonophilia is their first bomber release.
The bomber culture isn't as big in South Dakota, just because I'm not sure why it's never really taken off. But the bomber culture is part of the brewer culture where they do some beer trading and do it for special events, and that's why we're putting Pogo in. This is going to be great for people to take to friends that want to experience some of the biggest, best craft beer in South Dakota. And also, it's good to share with friends for special occasions, and that's really what these kind of beers are for. So there's a lot of different beers, there's a lot of different ways to drink beer, there's a lot of different ways to package beer, and the bomber fits into the category of kind of, the specialty, usually high ABV, usually can be cellared very well, and special event.
Pogonophilia bottles feature something you may not have seen before, a waxed crown. The tops of the bottles have actually been dipped in wax.
There's a little bit of theater to that, but there's a little bit of practicality as well. The wax, of course, over the top of the crown will help seal in case I would expect one, but in case there ever was, that's a good way to make sure you've got a second layer of seal.
Especially if you're aging.
And it also looks nice. It presents well. It's kind of a cool way to do that. So we will be wax sealing the tops of these, just so that, again, if you stick it away in your cellar, you'll be able to be assured that you won't have anything escape out of it or into it. Not that I assume it does anyway, but it also looks kind of fun. It's a fun thing to do.
There'll be more bomber releases coming in the future.
Bomber format works really well with big beers that age well. So things like St. Isidore or Braggot, if we would have had some of that. We may also bomber. The cool thing is, because we're small, we may bomber off some special varieties. So we've done special oaked editions of the different beers we've had before, and those are fun. So we may bomber off 10 of those, 15 of those, however it works, and just have them as fun little special editions in the cooler.
Well, you now have a whiskey barrel too.
Yeah, we have a Jack Daniels barrel sitting in the back, so there's another project coming up.
And finally, a reminder from Seth, don't forget fan cakes at the pub the morning of every SDSU home football game.
We love supporting the local charities. Every home game is going to be a fan cakes day, so come on down. Make sure you follow us on Facebook. They usually start about 9. If the game's going to be earlier, like Hobo Day coming up, we're going to move that ahead just a little bit to make sure people get time to get pancakes. Follow us on Facebook, follow us on social media, follow us on Instagram, where we're doing a lot of those cool things and showing people what's coming up at the pub.
That's it for this week's show. Until next time, drink local and drink responsibly. Thank you for listening to this archived edition of Beer Untapped with Perry Miller. Feel free to listen to other episodes, and if there's anything you'd like us to talk about on a future show, please let us know. Thanks again.